Ngayon po ay February 28, 2026. Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat mga tol at pag-usapan po natin ito pong natapos na confirmation of charges hearing nito pong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte para po sa kasong crimes against humanity. Tumagal po iyan ng 4 na araw mula po nung February 23, 24, 26 at kahapon 27. At ano po ba ang inaasahan po natin sa mga susunod na panahon kaugnay po ng natapos na confirmation of charges hearing na yan? Alam niyo, tatlong posibilidad lang naman ang pwedeng mangyari. Una, ikukumpirma ng ICC yung charges laban kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. O kaya naman i-amend yung charges laban po sa kanya. At ikatlo, syempre, kung talagang hindi po kakikitaan ng sapat na ebidensya, ito pong kaso laban kay Rodrigo Duterte, ititigil na po yung mga susunod pang pagdinig. In short, hindi na po magkakaroon ng full-blown trial laban sa kanya. Pero syempre, yan po ay pinakamaiksing pagpapaliwanag lamang. Meron po ako nakitang vlog o shared post nitong si Juan Luna Vlog at mukhang AI generated naman po ito pero tama naman yung sinasabi dito. And mamaya, babasahin din po natin yung opinion ni Dean Mel Santamaria regarding this at saka yung interview or yung discussion rather ng GMA personnel doon po sa katatapos na confirmation of charges hearing kagabi. At saka yung napakagandang presentasyon ng prosecution para po kumbinsihin ang ICC na ikumpirma ito pong charges laban po kay Rodrigo Duterte. Unahin po muna natin ito pong mga posibilidad na mangyayari makatapos nga po itong confirmation of charges hearing.
After this pre-trial hearing, the judges have 60 days to review the evidence and render their decision. They can decide one of three things. 1, to confirm the charges and send the case to trial. 2, to adjourn the hearing and continue later, asking the prosecution for more evidence or to amend the charges. Or 3, to decline to confirm the charges. If declined, the arrest warrant no longer has effect and judges would give orders for the next steps. However, the prosecution could still bring the same charges against Mr. Duterte later if backed up by more evidence.
Yan
The judge's decision will be made public as soon as it is available.
Yan, narinig po natin. Tatlo, yung mga posibilidad. Pero basahin po natin ngayon ito pong post ni Dean Mel Santamaria. No, sinasabi po dito, the ICC confirmation hearing has ended. I roll the dice. With the evidence presented by the prosecution, it is, in his opinion, that the Duterte crime against humanity for murder and attempted murder case will go to the trial chamber. Yan po yung paniniwala ni Dean Mel Santamaria na tutuloy po ito sa full-blown trial. He think he will be watching hearings on the merits starting late this year or early next year. Pero kung babalikan natin yung pinanood natin na AI or video kanina, sinasabi doon na 60 days, ano? Marahil yung 60 days po na yon ay hindi naman po nakabase sa calendar days. Ibig sabihin, hindi po bibilang from March 1 to April 30. Kasi after that is 60 days, no? May mga tinatawag kasing working days or official business days sa International Criminal Court or even dito po sa korte natin na ganun po yung pagbilang. Kaya siguro marahil sinasabi ngayon dito nitong si Dean Mel Santamaria, late this year or early next year, lalabas ang desisyon ng ICC regarding po dito po sa either iko-confirma o hindi yung charges laban po kay dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ngayon, bago magtapos ang hearing kahapon, ito po yung mga naging kaganapan. Isa po sa mga pinresenta ng prosecution. Napakagaling nito pong prosecution lawyer. Ano? Talagang nakabase po sila sa mga ebidensya. At bahagi po ng ebidensya na yan, yung pagpapakita po ng video nito pong si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Ito po yung mga huling video ni Rodrigo Duterte publicly before siya po ay maaresto noong March 11, 2025. At ito nga po ay nangyari sa ibang bansa, sa Hong Kong, kung saan siya po ay pumunta, bumisita doon ng ilang araw. Noong March 9, 2025, binanggit niya po ito pong mga biro ba o katotohanan, at partikular yung nakikita nyo po sa thumbnail natin, na gusto niyang maalala po siya ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino bilang mala Jose Rizal. Katabi si Jose Rizal sa isang monumento at si Rizal may hawak na libro at siya naman may hawak po na baril. Yan po ay kanyang sinabi noong March 9, 2025 sa harapan po ng ating mga kababayang Pilipino, kung saan sila po ay nagpapalakpakan. Tuwang-tuwa po sila sa mga nadidinig nila kay Rodrigo Duterte kahit po ang pagbibiro nito o katotohanan man ay tungkol po sa pagpatay sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino. Ang masasabi ko lamang dyan mga tol, kapag ka ikaw natutuwa sa kamatayan ng iba, lalong-lalo na sa kapwa mo Pilipino, may problema ka sa pag-iisip. Sa bagay, ano pa ang ine-expect po natin sa mga taong kung tawagin ni Attorney Joel Butuyan sa kanyang naging opening statement diyan po sa confirmation of charges hearing noong February 23, 2025, 26. Ang tawag po niya ay mga mini Dutertes or Duterte clones. Ibig sabihin, lumikha ito pong si Rodrigo Duterte ng mga kapwa natin Pilipino na ang utak ay katulad po ng utak niya. I do not know lamang kung itong mga mini Dutertes or Duterte clones ay kaya talagang gawin yung mga pinaggagawa naman nitong si Rodrigo Duterte. Pero definitely, yung kanilang mga utak ay utak ni Rodrigo Duterte. Balikan po natin ang video po na ito na ipinakita o na ito pong confirmation of charges hearing kung saan sinasabi po ng prosecution lawyer dito po kay Attorney Kaufman na ano ba itong si Rodrigo Duterte? Sinungaling o perjurer? Pero syempre, unahin muna natin yung nasa bandang gitna kung saan katulad po ng sinabi natin kanina, si Rodrigo Duterte gustong maging mala Jose Rizal.
Ako yung o ganito na lang. Ito ganito na lang. O sa ito. Assuming na totoo talaga yung naririnig ninyo. Bakit ko ginawa yan? Para sa sarili ko? Para sa pamilya ko? Para sa inyo at ang inyong mga anak at bayan. Ang higiin ko na lang sa inyo, kung ganito man talaga ang swerte ko sa buhay, okay lang, tatanggapin ko yan. Wala tayong
Excuse
magawa
me, Council, you have 5 minutes left.
hulihin tayo, kung ikulong tayo. Kaya lang, in the meantime, mag-contribute kayo, bas kayo $5, $10, para paglabas ko sa prisuhan, pagawaan ninyo akong monumento sa katabi ni Rizal. Si Rizal may hawak na libro Akin,
Di ba? You see mga tol, ganyan po natutuwa ito pong mga mini Dutertes kapag ka si Rodrigo Duterte ay nagsasalita either ba ng biro o katotohanan. Pero alam naman natin na ang kanyang mga sinasabi ay hindi lamang po biro. Ito po talaga ay nangyayari. In fact, mini Duterte and Duterte clones, ganyan po yung isipan. Ramdam na ramdam po natin yan sa harapan po ng publiko. Ako mismo nakaka-experience niyan sa loob po ng ilang taon nating pag-criticize sa mga Duterte simula nung ito po'y i-criticize ang gobyerno ng ating Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Nagtanggol na po tayo sa ating Pangulo at sa gobyernong ito. Ipinakita kaagad natin nila sa atin. Ipinakita kaagad nila sa atin kung anong uri na meron po silang asal at pag-iisip. Madalas nakakatanggap po ako ng mga pagbabanta either privately sa mga message ko, mga inbox ko po. Kaya from time to time, ino-open ko yan pero madalas ino-off ko na kasi wala akong makuhang matitinong mga argumento sa kanila kung hindi pagbabanta at pagmumura lamang. And during our live streaming, nakikita po natin kung gaano po nila pinagbabantaan si Top 1. Ganun po ang mindset nila, no? Kaya I should say na hindi po yan biro lamang kung hindi isang seryosong sitwasyon na kung bibigyan ng pagkakataon at nangyari na nga, talagang papatay ang mga tao na ito katulad po ni Rodrigo Duterte para po sa paniniwala nila. Alam niyo, lahat tayo dapat galit sa korupsyon, galit sa kriminalidad, pero merong tamang kaparaanan para labanan ang mga yan. Sabi dito ng abogado ng prosecution, the end justify the means. Yun yung kaparaanan na ginawa ni Rodrigo Duterte. Kahit ang pagpatay sa mga kapwa natin Pilipino dahil sa paniniwala nila ito itatapos di umano sa illegal na droga at kriminalidad, ginajustify nito yung kaparaan ng pagpatay. Pero mali po yun. Dapat sinasabi po natin, the end does not justify the means. Kahit gaano kaganda ang naging resulta kung ang kaparaanan ay hindi mabuti, hindi man kailan magiging mabuti ang resulta na yan. At ganon, itong nangyari sa war on drugs ni Rodrigo Duterte. Pero alam naman natin na ang war on drugs nitong si Rodrigo Duterte ay hindi naman talaga makatotohanan. In fact, hindi po sa akin ang galing ito at muli ko pong ipapaalam sa inyo, ipapaalala sa ating mga manunood sa publiko na ito pong si Rodrigo Duterte, hindi sa akin ang galing ito uulitin ko lamang, hindi po ito nanggaling sa akin. Ito po ay Quadcom report na ipapanood at ipapakinig ko po sa inyo. Sinabi po sa pamamagitan ng pagbasa ni namayapa pong Congressman Romeo Acop na si Rodrigo Duterte ang mukha ng illegal na droga at kriminalidad. Yan ba ay paninira? Hindi po. Sapagkat nire-relay ko lamang sa inyo ang balita na yan ay produkto ng investigasyon na isinagawa ng Quadcom. Yan yung tinatawag na Quadcom report na ang haba ay nasa almost 30 minutes. Pero hindi na po natin uulitin yan kung hindi yung bahagi na lamang kung saan sinabi sa report na yan na binasa ni Congressman Romeo Acop, si Rodrigo Duterte ang mukha ng illegal na droga at kriminalidad.
Napakasakit po dahil Pidigong won on the platform of a hardline stance against illegal drugs and criminality. Siya pala ang mukha ng illegal drugs at kriminalidad.
Hindi po ako nagpapakalat ng fake news dito. Hindi ko sasabihin na si Rodrigo Duterte ang mukha ng illegal na droga at kriminalidad kung wala tayong basihan. At yan po ang Quadcom report. Sa investigasyon na isinagawa nila, base sa mga ebidensyang ipinakita sa committee, 4 na committee na nagsama-sama, lumabas ang konklusyon na yan. Uulitin ko, si Rodrigo Duterte ang muka ng illegal na droga at kriminalidad. In short, mga tol, yung mga pagpatay na nangyari sa panahon ng panunungkulan ni Rodrigo Duterte, ito po ay pagpapakita lamang ng kaplastikan sa kanyang war on drugs dahil siya pala mismo ay sinasabing involved dito. In short, competition elimination ang nangyari. No, yung competitor nila sa business, sa illegal na negosyo na ito, ay kanilang ineliminate at the expense of thousands of Filipino. At karamihan po dito mga mahihirap, or almost all of them, mga mahihirap. Mga nadamay pa ang karamihan dyan, mga bata. Yung iba nga, meron pang nagdadalang tao na nadamay. Biruin ninyo, papalabasin mo na ikaw ay against sa korupsyon at illegal na droga, samantala ikaw pala ang mukha ng illegal na droga at kriminalidad. Ngayon, balikan po natin yung argumento dito nito pong lawyer ng prosecution, kung saan sinasabi niya na ito bang si Mr. Kaufman or Attorney Nicholas Kaufman ay sinasabing ang kanyang kliyente ay sinungaling o perjurer? Panoorin at pakinggan po natin ito, mga tol. Yung mga nasa Facebook, pasensya na kayo. Hindi nyo nakikita yung visual aid na ginagamit po namin. Pero kung gusto nyo makita, lipat lamang po kayo sa ating YouTube channel.
Another point. My friend is trying to kind of have it both ways on how Your Honor should treat Mr. Duterte's utterances, his speeches, his words. On day one,
Oy, shoutout sa'yo, classmate Nelson Solina. India company ako, mate. India. No, nasa gitna kami ng class natin eh. Pagka naka-formation tayo. And I believe Delta Company is a maritime group, di ba? Kasi yung Alpha at Bravo Special Action Force, baka hindi makasabay yung mga manonood natin. May nagtanong kasi isa kong classmate sa kapulisan at tinatanong niya yung kumpanya. Ang ibig sabihin po ng kumpanya, ito po yung class group, no? Na kung tawagin Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, Echo, yan, Foxtrot, and so on and so forth. Depende po sa dami ng mga magkaka-classmate during training days. Balik po tayo dito, mga tol.
key 0004 at page 30, lines 18 to 19, my friend said, Duterte's word was his word and the people knew it, end quote. Yesterday, worried about his client's confessions, that's what they are, he said, quote, this is at T0006, page 7, lines 5 to 7, he said, quote, one cannot rely on anything coming out of Mr. Duterte's mouth. All right, that's good to know if he ever decides to testify. And for his representations on interim release, that you can't trust a word that comes out of his mouth. But beyond that, as I went through on Monday, 3 times under oath, Mr. Duterte said in committee hearings, I have a death squad. Is Mr. Kaufman saying that his client is a liar and a perjurer who has no problem lying under oath? Limited use statements. I won't go through all the, frankly, nonsense that we heard about limited use statements. What I want to make clear, he tried to create an impression which is just not true. Not one witness has been granted immunity in this case. None. There is no such thing as virtual immunity or whatever he called it. He said something similar today. It's standard practice to use these statements when interviewing suspects under 55-2 who have rights and they do not grant immunity. It just means the statement can't be used against that particular witness. And if they lie during those statements to us, to the OTP, then the agreement is void and they can be prosecuted. And his suggestion somehow that we should not interview the direct killers, Mr. Duterte's killers at the bottom of the pyramid, they shouldn't be interviewed? That's clinically insane from a prosecution point of view.
Dito may babanggitin si etong lawyer, di ko tanda yung kanyang pangalan eh. No? Julian Nichols, Attorney Nichols, na Superman. Kasi kung matatandaan po ninyo, ang lumabas sa harapan ng publiko na tumawag kay Rodrigo Duterte na Superman ay si Arturo Las Cañas. Sa pagdinig po kasi na ito, protected yung identity ng mga testigo eh. Pero public knowledge naman, no, kahit na sabihin natin dito sa ating programa or i-speculate ko na si Arturo Las Cañas yun, alam naman natin yan, napakinggan natin sa napakaraming pagkakataon. In fact, ginawan pa nga po natin ng particular live streaming yan using the articles or written by Antonio Montalban, printed or published sa verafiles.com. No, doon sinabi nitong si Antonio Montalban na na-interview niya ito pong si Arturo Las Cañas at during that interview nagsambit ng mga termino itong si Las Cañas katulad po ng Superman referring dito po kay Rodrigo Duterte. Kaya habang pinapanood ko pong itong presentation ni Attorney Nichols, pumasok sa isip ko na ang tinutukoy niya marahil na testigo at sa ibang pagkakataon sinasabi ng prosecution na insider na testigo ay ito pong si Arturo Las Cañas. And I am hoping also na eventually lalabas din bilang testigo syempre o public knowledge na rin naman ito sina Edgar Matubato at saka ito pong si Colonel Royina Garma. But the rest, dapat protektahan natin yung kanilang mga identity na kahit alam natin, wag natin babanggitin sa harapan ng publiko. Ito kasing tatlo na pinapangalanan natin ngayon, alam naman na rin ng mga Duterte na yan ay tetestigo laban sa kanila.
And of course, some of those persons will get limited use statements if their lawyers request them. And finally, we're here in this court to prosecute the most responsible. And the most responsible is his client, former President Duterte, not the people on the ground who committed the killings. They are responsible, but they are not the most responsible. And unlike his client, the ones who have come forward have shown remorse for what they have done. His client, contrary to everything he said in the last few days, the last 3.5 hours, repeatedly admitted committing the crimes we're here for. His killings of his own people, the Filipino people. We saw some of those in our presentations. I'm sorry, I missed one point. He said there was no linkage of the incidents to Mr. Duterte. He said, my friend, not one incident where the direct order came from Mr. Duterte for one of these incidents. Well, he should look at incident 1 of the ones we have charged. And I'm afraid I don't have my site because I skipped around. But in that incident, the evidence shows that we have a witness who heard Mr. Duterte on the phone, who heard that the order came from Superman, his client's code name and nickname. Mr. Jeremy is helping me. It's at para 89 of our brief, Your Honors. So that was wrong. That is, I just wanted to reply. He said that several times. It's not true. Back to Mr. Duterte. He's proud of his killings. He won't.
Kung babalikan natin yung pagkakataon na yan mga tol, I believe nasa dito. Balikan lang natin yung interview na yon. Gusto ko lang muling sariwain sa inyo yung binanggit na Superman at kailan nangyari yan. Sana makita ko pa dito kasi matagal na to almost more than a year or 2 years na yata natin na na-reactionan yon. Kung saan in-interview nga po nitong si Antonio Montalban itong si Arturo Las Cañas. Pero habang hinahanap ko, pakinggan muna natin patuloy itong sinasabi ni Atty. Nicol.
Wants to be remembered for decades of murdering his own people, murdering the children of the Philippines, and he claims that he did it all for his country. He doesn't deny it. He says, as I said early on, it's a necessary evil. It's for the greater good. Doesn't matter how many kids I have to kill. I'll clean up the Philippines. Now, I want to play a clip, Your Honors. If we can do that, James. This is, you'll see the beginning. I played just a few seconds of it. I'm going to play more of it now, about 2.5 minutes.
Ito, napakinggan na natin to kanina. Yung pinanood po natin na at pinakinggan na mga sinabi ni Rodrigo Duterte, kaya skip na po natin yan.
Okay, what do we see there? This is essentially Mr. Duterte's farewell speech. It was made on 9 March last year, 3 days before, as he says, he was apprehended. He was not going to surrender. Apprehended and surrendered to The Hague. What did we see there? First, I won't repeat it, shows total, utter contempt for this court. Second, referring to, quote, his sin, end quote. He says, assuming that we'll talk you through is true, assuming it's all true.
Ito, nakita ko na. Balikan po natin ito, mga tol. Kasi naniniwala ako na yung mga sinasabi nito pong si Attorney Nichols ng prosecution ay ito po yun. Yung mga naging testimonya publicly nito pong si Arturo Las Cañas. Noong 2017, more or less 30 minutes na nagbigay po ng statement ito pong si Arturo Las Cañas, katabi niya doon si ngayon ay kongresista Chel Jokno at iba pang mga personalidad. Pero most of them ay mga accounts or mga pangyayari na hindi na po covered ng International Criminal Court eh. Kasi from 2011 to 2019 lamang yung covered period ng prosecution, no? Pero syempre kailangan i-establish yon para malaman ng prosecution ng korte at ng publiko in general na doon nagsimula yung tinatawag po na death squad. At ito nga po eventually in-apply sa national level nung maging pangulo na po ng Pilipinas si Rodrigo Duterte noong June 30 in the afternoon 2016. In fact, hindi pa nga siya presidente. President-elect pa lamang. Simula nung manalo siya at maitanghal na panalo na presidente, ay nagsimula na po yung kaliwat kanan araw-araw na patayan sa buong Pilipinas. Ang rason, drug suspect, ang kaparaanan ng pagkakapatay sa kanila ay nanlaban. Balikan po natin ito pong interview ni Antonio Montalban dito po kay Arturo Las Cañas. It was published on December 4, 2023 sa kanilang YouTube channel, Vera Files.
Na ba ang latest interview kay Arturo Las Cañas, yung dating police at original member ng Davao Death Squad? May pasabog tungkol sa Shabu Factory sa Davao at sangkot daw si former President Duterte. Pakinggan dito sa interview ng Vera Files columnist na si Antonio Montalban.
Okay, today is November 17, 2023. This is Antonio Montalban, writer of Vera Files, and I am here to interview Mr. Arturo Las Cañas. Sir, I have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
First
Welcome.
question, sir, is Edgar Matobato mentioned that Superman really owned a Shabu laboratory. Do you confirm that?
That's right.
That's right. Do you know the exact location? Have you seen the laboratories yourself?
I have seen the Domoy Shabu Laboratory several times because I was instructed by Mayor Duterte before with Sunny Ventura to escort an alleged canned-fish factory delivered to the Toril Peaceport Complex.
The canned-fish factory.
The canned-fish factory allegedly for export to Malaysia, but it was all a Shabu laboratory.
Were you able to go inside?
Not exactly that I was able to go inside, but I was see Michael Yang outside. When we talk about
the extortion of the traffic police in the rural area in the panel delivered to the Torrel Police Port. We delivered to the Torrel Police Port more than 3 times.
I see.
It was all drugs.
All drugs.
Shabu. And one person told me, the owner of the shipping fleet that was rented by Charitan, Mr. Cascabel, I do not know his first name. He said, this is from the drug laboratory of Dr. T. Very sensitive.
So the shabu came from the Canfish factory, and it was
Yeah.
it was sent to the police.
These guys eat as a canfish factory, but it is a shabu factory.
I see.
That's why Dr. T ordered us, me, and Wilkins Villanueva to kill all the workers in the chemists of the Davao Laboratory. And I can pinpoint, even up to now, where I buried their bodies. So, to inform all humanity, not only in the southern Philippines, in Mindanao, or in the part of Davao City, Duterte is the lord of all the drug lords in the southern Philippines. He is the most dangerous person in the southern hemisphere. You must know it. Filipinos, rise up.
And this Canfish factory in Toril, was it the only shabu laboratory in all Davao City?
No, there is another Cebu laboratory. It was in Barangay Obrero.
Barangay Obrero.
Yes. That's what I know. Barangay Obrero in Dumoy, Toril.
Okay.
Nadinig natin, Lord of all drug lords. Ito pong si Rodrigo Duterte in the southern hemisphere, referring to Mindanao area o southern part of the Philippines. Pero hindi lang ganun ang nangyari kasi naging pangulo siya ng Pilipinas eh. Kaya yung kanilang transaction marahil diyan po sa southern Philippines napunta sa national scale. But circumstances or situations during that time ang magsasabi sa atin na perhaps may katotohanan ito. Bakit? Panahon ni Rodrigo Duterte in 2017 and 2018, nahuli yung dalawang magnetic lifter. Naglalaman ito ng tons of methamphetamine hydrochloride or shabu worth of more than 6 billion pesos each. Anong nangyari doon? May naparusahan ba? Meron. Ang tanong, yung naparusahan ba, sila ba talaga mismo yung liable? Mukhang hindi. Kasi ang naparusahan doon, yung isang negosyante, broker na si Taguba at yung intelligence officer ng Bureau of Customs na si Guyuban ba yun? Kalimutan ko na yung pangalan. No? Pero yung tinuturong nasa likod talaga ng mga mastermind, anong nangyari? Hindi man lang naimbestigahan. Sino yon? Ang asawa ng Vice President po natin ngayon, si Mans Carpio, at yung kanyang kapatid na si Pulong Duterte. Bakit hindi naimbestigahan? Sino ba nakaupo? Duterte administration. Ngayon, may lumabas na Ramil Madriaga sa kanyang affidavit noong November 29, 2025. Sinigundahan niya yung matagal ng spekulasyon na ito nga pong dalawa ang magbayaw na si Mans Carpio at Pulong Duterte ang di umano'y nasa likod. Guban, salamat. Nasa likod ng magnetic lifters taong 2017 at 2018. So much for that. Ngayon, alamin na natin kung ano po ang mangyayari kay Rodrigo Duterte. Dito po sa discussion after ng confirmation of charges hearing ng GMA Integrated News, nakalagay nga po dito sa kanilang title, Can Duterte Go Home? Expert Explains Condition of Interim Release. Pakinggan po natin ito mga tol.
Dean, natapos na si Atty. Cockman sa pagpresenta ng kanyang mga submissions para sa depensa. Iba yung level, yung extent ng detail niya, no? Iniisa-isa na niya eh. Ginigiba niya isa-isa yung prosecution evidence. Did he succeed?
I think as to the extent of the destruction of the arguments of the prosecution, although ang pinaka-punto niya, that there was no direct link between these killings and former President Duterte, and that there is no personal liability, personal responsibility here, which is the the goal here na dapat na harapin ni Duterte itong personal responsibility. At pinapakita nga, ang sinabi niya sa last statement niya, sinabi niya dito na walang common na plano.
Yes.
No? Pero pag tinitingnan natin ang na-mention niya na Article 25, kasi it relates sa direct participation, no? Direct na paggawa mismo. This has been interpreted by the court, no, in several instances, and they're saying that it should not be looked at na sa isang action lang, but we have to look into the pattern, the organization, even the scheme and the policy, no? So, and as we said earlier, may mga bagay na dapat maitahi mo doon na hindi lang na dapat siya mismo ang gumawa nito.
Kasi kung may common thread dito sa naging arguments ni Attorney Kaufman, yun eh. Again, as I said kanina, parang ini-insulate talaga nila ang dating Pangulong Duterte.
Ang point niya dito pati is circumstantial lahat ng mga evidence. Tsaka sabi niya, no witness, no evidence can prove directly na siya mismo naputos niyan. No? So circumstantial and merely statements lang ang mga sinabi. In fact, they're discrediting the testimony and the personalities mismo ng witnesses dito.
Although yung isang point, at least for me, itong wala daw proof that aside from Kian de los Santos na may iba pang minors na namatay dito sa at least sa count 3. Can that stand? Para I think it's easy to debunk na kasi may mga ibang mga minors talaga na namatay.
Yes, that's something. No? Kasi ang pinaka-famous dito na actually mukha ng EJK is really Kian de los Santos. And even on the presentation, di ba, ng prosecution, they showed the picture of a child there. But kahit sinong ilagay mo doon, Kian de los Santos ang maalala ng tao.
Yes.
And I think there are evidence na sinasabi na hindi lang si Kian ang minor dito.
Yes.
Mas marami pa.
But it's a different story, of course, kung hindi naman naipresenta ng prosecution o hindi isinama. So, in that case, tama si Attorney Kaufman. Ganun well.
Kasi ang nirely ni Attorney Kaufman dito ay sinasabi niya na itong statement for Kian de los Santos, halimbawa, and these are not supported by other evidence, no? And at the same time, na ang isang circumstance lang yan. Hindi natin pwedeng lahatin na nangyayari yan.
Okay.
Din, gusto ko sana balikan yung sinabi ni Attorney Kaufman. Meron siyang nabanggit na, tama ba yung aking pronunciation? In dubio pro reo, meaning when in doubt, you rule for the accused. Pero nagagamit ba yung argumento yun sa pre-trial pala? Kasi di ba dito ang hinahanap pa lang naman natin is substantial grounds, hindi proof beyond reasonable doubt.
I understand na sinasabi niya dito na dapat huwag na natin ipatuloy ito kasi obviously walang ebidensya ang prosecution, so wag na natin pang patiisin ang akusado dito kung alam naman natin na on its face problematic ng evidence.
Parang kapag pa siya, gusto niya umuwi.
Bakit na tayo kasi walang ebidensya. Although we have to understand the threshold of evidence here, substantial grounds lang, and dapat yung question ang innocence or guilt is on the trial naman.
Yeah, but of course,
in short mga tol, kung substantial grounds lang ang pinag-uusapan, sasapat ang mga circumstantial evidence. No, kahit sabihin mo walang direktang ebidensya na magtuturo kay Rodrigo Duterte na ginawa niya yan o sinabi niya, kung tambak naman, which is ganun nga, yung circumstantial evidence, sapat na sapat pong basihan yun para po tumuloy po ito sa full-blown trial. At ako'y mag-a-agree ngayon sa napakaraming mga katulad ko po ang isipan na dapat ito'y tumuloy sa full-blown trial. Isa po dyan, syempre, si dating Senador Antonio Trillanes, kung saan galit na galit ang mga DDS dito sa kanya. Kasi sinasabi po dito sa interview sa kanya,
Let's bring it out.
100% this case will go to a full trial, sabi po ni Trillanes. Pakinggan po natin ang interview po sa kanya dito.
For second guest now, we're also getting a reaction for someone who's closely involved in this, to say the least. Joining us is former Senator Sonny Trillanes. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Ms. Regina, and to all our viewers.
Senator, I guess the logical first question for you is you were one of the first that filed a complaint against former President Duterte at the ICC, if not the first, if I remember it correctly. After a week of confirmation of charges hearings, what did you think? Did anything stand out to you as far as the prosecution's arguments are concerned, or the defense's arguments?
Well, the past week, we saw a glimpse of how things would go in case this whole thing would go to a full-blown trial.
Nako, lobat na ako sa ating cellular phone, kaya pansamantala, magpapaalam muna tayo sa ating Facebook Live, ano? Maraming salamat sa mga manonood po natin sa Facebook. Pasensya na at lobat na po yung cellphone na ginagamit ko. Bye sa inyo. Sa YouTube, magpapatuloy po tayo mga tol.
So we can see, and we have seen the prosecution present its case in a very orderly and logical logical presentation. They have proven the case. They have shown that the killings were widespread, systematic, and it was ordered as a policy by Duterte and was executed through that critical Memorandum Circular 16 of Bato de la Rosa. So executed by and implemented by the Philippine National Police. And the keyword there is neutralize. In the security parlance, the word neutralize means to kill. Otherwise, if you meant these targets to be arrested, you would have written their arrest, right? Now, even if you didn't mean that neutralize means kill, but still, you should have corrected it, right? So anyway, bottom line is the prosecution professionally presented its case, whereas in contrast, the defense.
Sabi ni Grace Laurio, murahin mo mga DDS, minura nila si Marcos sa vlog nila, lalo na si Boss Dada. Kayo na lang po ang gumawa, hindi po ako nagmumura sa harapan ng camera. Isang beses lang nangyari yon, no? Sa kasaysayan ng vlogging ko, at hindi na siguro mauulit pa. Kung gusto niyo pong murahin, sige, murahin niyo po. Wag po tayong tumulad sa mga utak ng mga Duterte clones or Duterte or mini Dutertes. Kasi kung utak po nila ang papantayan po natin, ile-level po natin yung pagkatao natin sa kanila, wala na po tayong pinagkaiba sa kanila.
Tend to cater to the domestic audience. It's more about trying to ignite certain emotions from the Duterte supporters instead of rebutting the prosecution evidence. So yes, and with all that, I can say 100% certainty that this thing will go to a full-blown trial, which may commence as early as May or probably June.
Is that inside information, sir, or you're just basing that on what you've seen so far this week?
Probably both. I don't know.
I mean, how can that be? Because the pre-trial chamber has not decided on the case yet, right?
Yes, but of course, these are based on certain assumptions. If it would go to a full-blown trial, the schedule would because the pre-trial chamber would have 60 days, March, April, then they would decide and they would set the trial probably within a few months thereafter. So that's the assumption.
Oh, balik tayo.
Yeah, but right now we're not entertaining any scenario that this thing would be dismissed, more so now after seeing everything.
Balik tayo, sir, dun sa term to neutralize, because that kept coming up this week, both by being brought up by both the prosecution and the defense. On the defense side, Attorney Kaufman was arguing that neutralization only means self-defense if the police officers' lives are in danger. And he tried to make a case as well na the fact that the perpetrators on the ground interpreted it to mean to kill is not Duterte's fault now. Talk me through, kanina sabi niyo, sir, to neutralize is widely understood in the military to mean to kill. Talk me through that.
Yes, okay. Let's go to Kaufman's argument. Assuming that the policemen misinterpreted that word neutralize. But in the first place, it's not the word. It was written in the memo of Bato de la Rosa. And the reference, according to...
Ganito yan, bibigyan ko kayo ng experience ko, mga tol. Prior to the presidency of Rodrigo Duterte, na kung bakit ang salitang neutralization is synonymous with the killing. No? Sa mga napakaraming reports na nagawa ko during the time na ako'y pulis pa, we always use the word resulting to the neutralization of the suspect. That is the verbatim word, neutralization, resulting to the neutralization of suspect. Ang ibig pong sabihin nun, nanlaban yung tao at nauwi po sa kanyang pagkakapatay. Hindi pa Pangulo si Rodrigo Duterte, may ganun na talagang nangyayari. No? At ang report na kadalasang mababasa sa mga police report, resulting to the neutralization of the suspect. Again, it means patay yung suspect. Now, ngayon dinideny ng kampo nila Rodrigo Duterte na ang neutralization is not killing of a suspect. Pero circumstances will tell us na ganun yung nangyayari. Wala kang makikitang police report na nakalagay neutralization of the suspect na hindi po patay yung suspect. O, balik po tayo dito.
That same memo, the reference there was verbal instruction by President Rodrigo Duterte. So it's very clear, the authority of that memorandum circular. Now, on the assumption that they misinterpreted that word, so instead of arresting, they killed. But the fact that
Di ako naniniwalang na misinterpreted yun eh. No? Di ako naniniwala. Kasi report mismo magsasabi, kahit tumalungkat kayo ng mga police report prior sa presidency nitong si Rodrigo Duterte, may mga ganun ng instances na sinasabi sa report that resulted to the neutralization of the suspect or to one or to various suspects, depende kung ano yung circumstances, no? Tapos ngayon, porkit ito ngayon yung ina-allege dito kay Rodrigo Duterte na dahil sa mga pronouncement niya at dahil sa salitang ginamit ng mismong kapulisan na neutralization, hindi ito iuugnay sa pagkamatay. Tingin ko, alibay na lamang po nila yan at lame excuse para sabihin na wala pong intensyon na pumatay ang mga otoridad ng mga panahong iyon at sabihin lamang nila na ito talaga yung nanlaban. Pero hindi nga ganun yung mga nakita natin na ipinapresentang ebidensya eh. At alam na alam din naman ng mga kapwa natin Pilipino yan. Pinapangatwiranan na lamang ng mga tao po na katulad ng mga mini Dutertes at Duterte clones na hindi ganyan ang gusto ni Rodrigo Duterte. Pero ganun talaga yung nangyari. At alam na alam nila na yun talaga yung gusto ni Rodrigo Duterte.
But in the end, the policeman killed and Duterte didn't lift a finger in correcting that misinterpretation.
Kung gusto mo nga murahin Grace Laurio, murahin nyo na lang. Huwag nyo na po akong udyokan dito na magmura pa ako. Para naman po kayong... Ano po ba kayo? Ilang taon na po ba kayo, Grace Laurio? Para udyokan pa ang isang 46 years old na magmura sa kapwa po natin Pilipino. No, hindi po tama yan. Kayo po ba ay trolls? Alis nyo na lang po yan mga moderator kasi hindi po maganda na nang uudyok po tayo sa kapwa po natin na gumawa ng hindi maganda. Tayo nga po yung nagkikriticize eh sa pinagagagawa nitong si Rodrigo Duterte at ng mga minions o kung tawagin ay Duterte clones or mini Dutertes tapos hahalin tulad tayo sa kanila. Anong pinagkaiba natin sa kanila? Oh. Anyway, napahaba na tayo mga tol. Ito pong si dating Senador Antonio Trillanes, naniniwala siya na 100% ito po ay makukumpirma ang charges laban kay Rodrigo Duterte at magpuproceed po ito sa full-blown trial. Aabangan po natin ang mga susunod na mangyayari dyan. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Shoutout po. At lagi po natin tandaan kung ano ang tama at dapat. Hindi po tama ang magmura ng ganun-ganun na lamang sa harapan ng publiko. Doon po tayo. Keep safe. See you always. Bye for now mga tol.